We have seen a big change in the weather this week, and now things are starting to clear up after some much needed showers. Here is the comparison, what it looked like yesterday up in Fort Collins. Rain splotches on the camera, but boy did we welcome that, right? Compared to right now, looking pretty dry across the metro.
Thanks to this week's rain, Adams County rolling back some fire restrictions, downgrading them from stage 2 to stage 1. So that means contained campfires, professional fireworks, and using indoor fireplaces all out again. Open burning and personal fireworks, though, are still banned.
And while one county loosens its fire restrictions, another is broadening them. Larimer County says the fire ban there will continue through early September. That ban prohibits all fires in unincorporated parts of the county except for those that can be contained in a fire pit. Thanks for starting your Friday morning with us. I'm Jennifer Meckles.
And I'm Drew Carney. Today's weather forecast does feature a return to the 90s. We're not talking about the decade. We're talking about the temperatures. All right, Katie LaSalle, let's talk about that Friday forecast. I'll tell you what, though, I was kind of enjoying that Thursday cool down.
We had a day of highs that were slightly cooler than average. Today, we're right back to daytime highs in the mid and even upper 90s. So the heat returning very quickly here across Colorado. A lot of that monsoon moisture moving out of the state. And it's 70 degrees right now. Winds are calm, clear, dry. Your weather headlines. Happy Friday to you, Colorado. It's going to be hot once again today, especially through the weekend, where heat advisories have already been posted for the Front Range both Saturday and Sunday, nearing records. And then isolated storm chances will arrive mainly for the mountains. I'll show you that in just a moment. But in terms of our highs today, 95 degrees in Denver, triple digits return to Greeley, 70s and 80s in the mountains from Vail up through Steamboat, low to upper 80s for highs. So above average temperatures, this ridge of high pressure building in and hanging out. This is a big portion of the region. You can see that bubble, the dome of hot air. That'll be through Saturday and Sunday. Highs tomorrow around 99 degrees expected out at the airport, over triple digits, Greeley to Sterling, which is why the National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory starting at 11 a.m. lasting in through 9 p.m. for the weekend. We'll talk more about some slightly closer to average temperatures and the chances for rain coming up, but not a lot of rain chances over the next several days. Grateful, Brianna, to see some of it over the last several.
Yeah, definitely. Happy Friday, everyone. 5:02 is your time right now. Taking a live look for anyone taking 225 right near DTC Boulevard. Heading southbound this morning towards I-25. No issues to report. And you can see in both directions traffic very, very light for your Friday morning. So definitely take advantage, especially if this is part of your morning drive. Let's get to your drive times. Right now we are crash free. 225, like I just mentioned, we have the green light, so only a 9 to 10 minute drive. And then all the way down in Castle Rock. Northbound I-25 heading up to 225 this morning. You have a nice 15-minute drive.
All right, sounds good, Brianna. Let's get to our news headlines here at 5 o'clock. South Metro Fire is looking into the cause of a house fire that broke out last night right along South Lamar Court in Littleton. Firefighters with South Metro and West Metro got the call around 5 o'clock, and it took them about an hour to get those flames under control. They stayed on the scene for a few hours longer just to monitor hotspots. According to South Metro Fire, one person was checked for smoke inhalation, but they did not have to go to the hospital.
Police have arrested a man they say shot and killed a 34-year-old trying to break up a fight at Garfield Lake Park. Investigators say it happened earlier this month. According to arrest records, James Ruiz's girlfriend agreed to meet up with another woman at the park for some kind of fight after receiving threatening calls and messages throughout the day. Witnesses say when Ruiz stepped in to break it up, another man shot and killed him and then took off.
I know my brother was gonna let her get beat up or whatever would happen at that time, because he's not like that. He's always been not a fighter, but a fighter inside. Like his character, he told my mom that he was always going to protect her.
Police say the man that shot Ruiz was Fernando Sebastian Chavez. He now faces first-degree murder charges and is expected to appear in court later today.
After surviving a scare at his auto body shop, a man in Colorado Springs had a chance to meet this week the care team that saved his life. The man, who calls himself Cowboy Lopez, was working on a skid loader at his auto shop when the hydraulics collapsed. That loader fell on Lopez, literally crushing him. Doctors say he was dying when he came to the hospital. But after months of care, half a dozen surgeries, and more than a year in rehab, Cowboy is back at work again. And again this week, he had a chance to reunite with the medical team that saved him.
Come in for their job, but whenever they were in that room with me, it just felt like they were my aunt or my sister or, you know, a family member caring.
His doctors say Cowboy's story is really a testament to the value of whole blood. The first responders who saw him under the skid loader were able to get whole blood into his system quickly, giving him a chance at survival.
This morning, we're learning more about the woman that was arrested by ICE agents while boarding a flight at DIA. A GoFundMe for Chantal Alejandra Morales Rojas says she lived in California, has a work permit with a pending asylum case, but ICE says she's in the country on an expired visa. Friends of Morales have been advocating for her release, including Lauren Carr. Morales worked for Carr for 2 years. She was at the airport the day her friend was taken away. She says she's spoken to Morales at the Aurora ICE detention facility.
These women and girls and humans who are scared just like her. So she talked about trying to support them. She's sharing her commissary funds.
Morales' lawyer has since filed a federal court petition to challenge her arrest and detention.
All right, let's next story here on our news. There are 15 fewer flock cameras in Fort Collins this morning. City staff told our reporting partners at the Coloradan that the cameras stayed up for weeks after City Council voted to ditch flock. The City Council meeting ended with a mid-June vote, knocking that contract with flock out of the equation. That's after hearing from residents who brought up privacy concerns. The data collection was halted right after the vote, but it took a couple weeks to actually get those cameras down. City Council is now working on creating a surveillance policy to guide any future decisions about license plate reader cameras. They'll talk about that at a work session coming up next Tuesday. In Boulder County voters will decide this November whether or not to raise property taxes to pay for childcare.
County commissioners unanimously put the measure on the ballot last night. 9 News reporter Ria Jha joins us now to explain what families would get out of this and what homeowners would pay. Ria.
Yeah, so this would create a permanent source of childcare funding in Boulder County. Last night, public comment went on for nearly 2 hours. Most of the people there showing up to support this measure. They're calling it the Brighter Start Boulder County initiative. Supporters say the current system costs too much for families and while bringing in too little for many providers and teachers to stay afloat. The measure would add more than $2.5 million to property taxes beginning in January, and that means the owner of a $500,000 home would pay about $80 more a year. The county expects the tax to raise about $30 million in its first year, and that money would help families pay for care, increase child care workers' compensation, and create more infant and toddler spots. During last night's hearing, one public comment speaker told commissioners how he grew up here and how much has changed since.
Put Zia here on a wait list a few days after he was born, and he will start part-time daycare next month, 9 months later. My family is a case study in how much more expensive Boulder has gotten.
Opponents of the bill says it has gotten expensive, but they're wondering if the property tax is the right way to attack this problem. So voters will now have a final say in November. Reporting in Denver, Ria Jha, 9 News.
All right, Ria, thank you. The Department of Justice announced it's suing Colorado for allowing people in the country without proper authorization to get in-state tuition and financial aid. That state allows students to qualify for in-state tuition rates as long as they meet qualifications like attending a Colorado high school for a year before graduation. The Department of Justice argued this amounts to discrimination against U.S. citizens by making some of them pay more for education. The DOJ has had some success with similar lawsuits, but not in every case. A tuition lawsuit against the state of Minnesota was dismissed earlier this year, but the DOJ is appealing that decision.
Colorado and 24 other states are suing the Trump administration for requiring the states to comply with election-related conditions in order to receive disaster funds. The lawsuit claims that the administration is using federal money as leverage to force states to change their election systems. The policies require states to move towards using hand-marked paper ballots and share voters' rolls with the Department of Homeland Security. States that don't adopt the changes could lose 20% of disaster relief and counterterrorism funds. The states argue that the conditions violate the Constitution's spending clause.